So formally, I welcome you to Auracious Talks webinar that is based on Decoding the Extraordinary and based on the book by Vishen Lakhiani, founder of Mind Valley, called Decoding the Extraordinary. And the book name is The Code of the Extraordinary Mind. So what we're going to talk about in the first section will be the learnings from the book and how what helps us in becoming extraordinary. What are some of the tools? What are some of the laws? What are some of the principles that will help us break that stereotypical routine of staying in the same zone, even if you don't call it ordinary, but that's your routine. That's the level you are at right now and the level that you want to be at. How many of you must have seen or learned from extraordinary people? For example, Oprah Winfrey, for example, Albert Einstein, for example, Vishen himself, for example, some people who actually drove and brought in a change. They broke the stereotypical norms, whether they were the cultural norms. Right from our childhood, we have been told to do things in a certain way. They squashed and slashed those cultural norms, and now they began to live a different life altogether, a more fulfilled life, a more extraordinary life that creates a change, a positive change in other people's lives as well. That is why we all are here. So first part of the webinar will be based on the book learnings, and the second part will be based on life experiences. So I will include my wonderful, lovely guests, Kathy Palibroda and Rachna Arora. Both of the ladies have joined me and joined Auracious Coach community, and that's the announcement I'm going to make here. Thank you so much for joining us, becoming the part of the initiative, the Human Development Initiative, and taking it forward with me, with Auracious. So thanks for that. And Kathy is a CBT, Cognitive Behavioral Therapy coach, and EFT, Emotional Freedom Techniques coach. And she also does yoga, breathwork, mindfulness, meditation, apart from the busy working schedule that she has. So thanks, Kathy. I really appreciate your abilities. And then Rachna is a yoga and a breathwork expert and mindfulness meditation expert as well. And she's a beautiful mother of two lovely, lovely kids. And she takes care of them really well, like any other mother would. So yeah, thank you so much for your capabilities as well. All right, so the Zoom is always, this is what we have been doing for the last couple of years in pandemic, learning to live with Zoom. The first thing would be, can you hear me? Can you see me? Sorry, I didn't do that because all of you nodded, and so I took it for granted. So if I can please request, since this is a video call, a Zoom call, if you can, please show us your lovely face, and we would like to interact with you all as well at some point in time. It's all about you. It's not most about the book or us. It's most about you. What do you take from here? What do you share with us? So I would like to invite, before I do that, actually, let me share my screen. I have a little, so can you all see the screen? Are you able to see the Auracious page here? Yeah, fantastic.
Yes, Nasreen, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Auracious Talks webinar, as you can see, this is what we strive for today, the Code of the Extraordinary Mind. And this is a little bit about Auracious mission. Obviously, mission is something that we strive for, and vision is something that we have kept ahead, like a big picture for us, creating learning, empowerment, and pathways for human empowerment. You can see all of it. I don't have to go too much about it. This is what the initiative is all about. Now, only an extraordinary person will see beyond the obvious, right? In creating the opportunities, you need to rise from that level that you are functioning and perhaps is serving you, but that's your little comfort zone. And to see the bigger picture, to imagine it, even dream about it, you need to take that leap of faith. You need to become extraordinary. And who can tell me what's this? Very obvious. Very, very obvious. Please go ahead. Anyone can unmute and just share what this is.
Get out of the box.
Okay, great. Who else wanted to say something?
The light within.
The light within. Okay, two different perspectives. See, that's how we are all unique in our own ways of understanding the world, understanding ourselves. So box is like, it's the part of the world, it's a part of this universe. And what Sharat mentioned was light within. That's part of us, and that's also a part of universe. Universe is within us, and we are within the universe. So until and unless you learn to think outside of that box, you'll always remain in that boundary. To exist out of that boundary, you need to smash that boundary and become extraordinary. Right?
That box is the extraordinary.
Oh, thank you. See, it stands out.
That box is the extraordinary. Yes,
That
it stands out.
the,
Yes.
Exactly. So what I can do now is invite Kathy first to talk about one principle from the Code of the Extraordinary Mind and how she has perhaps lived through that and incorporated that in her own life and work, so that we learn from her experience as well. We know who is behind this word, Kathy, this name, Kathy. Yes, please, Kathy, warmly welcome you. You can unmute yourself.
Let me unmute myself so everyone can hear. As you know, I've taken one particular aspect of this book, which is very, very dear to me, and it has to do with the word discipline. And it's a new word that Vishen came out with because it didn't exist before, right? And he wanted to put together the discipline of bliss, which is something that is so relevant to our happiness today. And you were mentioning all the stuff that I've been studying and what I do nowadays, apart from my job and everything. And most of the things are related to the mind and to the hormones and everything that happens with our bodies and minds. And how important is to have this discipline of bliss, and how easy through little steps, instead of us keeping delaying this sensation of happiness when we think of a higher goal, a big, big goal that we want to achieve in life. And we think that that's when we will achieve happiness. And that concept of happiness is already within us, and we can practice it and feel it and have this sensation every single day with very little things. So that's about what I would like to talk today about the discipline of bliss. And I've heard maybe about a couple of years ago, there was a contestant on one of these big shows, like, I'm not sure if it was like big talent show, something like The Voice or something. And one of the participants who is going through a huge fight with leukemia, when she introduced herself, she said something like, "You cannot wait until life isn't hard anymore in order to be happy." And that's a very deep truth. And what are the little things that we can do? How can we microdose that happiness every single day, so we can live a blissful life? And it all comes down to things like generosity, kindness, forgiveness, mindfulness, and these things, that the first three at least that I mentioned about kindness, forgiveness, generosity, we often feel that, oh, it's something that we do, it's something that we take from us and we offer to others. But studies after studies after studies have proven that they're actually very beneficial for us at the level of anxiety relief, happy hormones release, and it's something that we are sharing and multiplying within us. And it's been a whole journey for me because it's not easy for everyone, right? You think like how can you be happy in when you go through hard moments in life, and how can you forgive when someone has done so much wrong to you? If you feel that someone has ruined your opportunities of a better life, and someone has done you really wrong, how can you actually practice this forgiveness? Yeah, I think through it, I mean, it's just like a muscle. If you start, let's say, forgiving people, like or little parts of people, little things, if you start small, if you start subtracting everything that it is damaging and attracting and adding little things that are beneficial, it's just like a muscle. It gets stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger, and ultimately you just achieve this daily bliss, this discipline. I don't know if anyone has any questions.
We will. Thank you so much, Kathy, for sharing your thoughts and your experience with Blisscipline. There are about, just before we go into that, I would like to say that questions, yes, more than welcome. Either you can put them up in the chat. If you have a really one question that really needs to be asked right now, otherwise we will keep the major chunk of the session, the webinar, towards when we are interacting with you all, the audience, because it's not just about we talking, it's about you interacting with us as well. And any doubts, any things you want to share with us, any experiences, will be taken during that time. So in the next half of the session. If that's okay with you to bear with us for some time, I would really appreciate that. In the meantime, if you like, you can raise your questions in the chat as well, and I will have a look at the chat and take the questions one by one. So thank you, Kathy, for coming in with your thoughts. What I have to say is, becoming extraordinary, yes, the path is not easy. It's definitely not easy. But if you look at happiness, and happiness from the point of view of being ordinary and becoming extraordinary, happiness, I don't think it's any different. Happiness is a state of mind. So to alter that state of mind, you can no longer be in that same zone. How can you expect different results if you keep doing the same things over and over and over again? And I think all of us, or most of us, are familiar with this term of the definition of insanity, which one of the most extraordinary beings on this earth has given us, Einstein. So think about, apply it in your daily life and see, to create those little moments of happiness. How Vishen talks about it is, have a vision for your happiness, right? So when you don't have any vision for your future, you can't create much of a happiness, because even the thought of that vision, the purpose, the meaning will put a lot of positive energy into you, and your state of the mind will be altered from, if you're feeling a little bit flat, to when you start feeling super powerful, super energetic, uplifted, and even have the courage to face whatever the day has in store for you or life has in store for you. So happy in the now. Present moment is what we are looking at. Happiness might have been there in the past, or happiness, according to your vision, will be there in the future, but you're not there yet. What is with you and what is in your control is your present. So create those happy moments in your now, right? That's all I have to say about Blisscipline. And there are about 20 odd words that you will hear or read if you get to, and I would really encourage you to get your hands on this wonderful book and embrace and immerse the learning within. 20 words. I'm not going to talk about all those 20, or rather we're not going to talk about all those 20 words, but we have chosen few, and one of those words is Blisscipline. Discipline plus discipline with bliss, with happiness. right? All right, thank you, Kathy. And now I bring in Rachna with her thoughts from the book, learning from the book, or choose. She has already chosen perhaps one principle or one law to talk about. And once she talks to us about her experience and the learning from the book, and then I will open the entire 10 laws of what we are talking about in this book to the audience. So thank you, Rachna, and you can begin.
Thanks, Nosheen. I'm so happy to be here and talking about this beautiful book. Nosheen just was talking about, the words, and the word that came to my mind was flow. Yeah, I think that's one of the words which is spoken in the book, that when you flow, when she's talking about happiness and vision. So there are ideally two situations in our life. One being we are happy, but then we don't have a vision. And the second is that we have a vision, but we are not happy. So, remember your old days, your, days of college where you will, enjoying your life, basically was happy, but then there was no vision. And you look at the life of people who are successful, they have a vision, they have many visions, they have big dreams, and they are successful doing that, but then they aren't happy. So the word flow exactly is to be having a fine balance of both happiness as well as vision. If you're happy, so that's the whole idea, is to be happy in the moment, which is what Nosheen was just talking about, but at the same time having a vision, which is the ideal situation. Now, the part that I liked about the book to begin with, which I would definitely relate to, is culturescape, which is the beginning of the book, where it says that, we are told certain things a certain way. Yeah. And that forms our belief and our habits. And we stick to those all our life. We don't think any other way. As simple as that. It becomes a subconscious thing that we gradually attract ourselves to the same situations, same conditions. Why? Because our habits haven't changed, because our beliefs haven't changed. Situations may change, but our habits and beliefs remain the same. And therefore, we do exactly what we do every time. Now, culturescape, as it says, is basically a set of rules and norms on how to love, how to eat, who to marry, what to do to make your living. As kids, we are told that, you got to study, otherwise you're not going to get a good paying job. Yeah, you got to be married, you got to have your wife, you got to have children, you have to have a religion, you cannot think beyond that, out of the religion. So, you're taught to become rich, you have to buy a house, you have to be successful, you have to achieve something. Yes?
You have to fit in. You have to fit in.
You have to fit in. Absolutely. Whether it makes us happy or not, even when as kids we question our parents, why are certain things that way? And even now when kids question, their parents, we tell them, well, this is how it is, Not going into the depth of why things are the way are, because it requires hard work to actually introspect, to actually think, why are we doing what we are doing? Now, I can relate to this as my times when I was young and I had to get into a college where I was studying for medical exams, So in those days, it was only recognized or you're successful only if you have an engineering degree or if you are a doctor. Of course, now there are many avenues, but I'm talking about those times when I had to face this culturescape. And it was too much of anxiety, too much of pressure, peer pressure, pressure from parents, pressure from, families, friends. So I decided to do something completely different. And then guess what I did? I learned Chinese language. Wow. So out of all that, what I was doing, I set all my books apart And it just kind of so happened that I met a friend of mine who was doing Japanese, and I was quite impressed. And I was like, well, I'm here struggling to fit in, trying to do something which is normal, which is considered to be, something which is going to make me successful. Here's somebody who's just, enjoying life and doing something which is totally not the same. And I completely enjoyed studying that language, and it kind of gave me way to many other different opportunities than I would have actually thought of. So yeah, I mean, this is what I feel was very interesting about the book. And I would definitely, encourage people to think about thinking out. I mean, thinking what actually interests you, introspect, come out of the culturescape. Yeah. And be extraordinary.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much, Rachna, for sharing your views and sharing your personal story about how you created your own definition of that culturescape for yourself, based or according to your own terms. Now, having said that, extraordinary doesn't mean that you have to completely, confront everybody. It only means that you are aware of what was taught to you, how you were told to do something in a certain way. It worked then. It worked for your parents. It worked for your teachers. It worked for your peers. It worked for your college mates. But maybe now in this situation, if you carry on with those same old beliefs and they're not serving you anymore, neither are they serving your neurology, neither are they serving your mindset, your physical life, and your mental, emotional health as well. So time to change, time to crush those boundaries, not telling those people that you have been wrong all your life, you have been teaching me the wrong things. No, they did the best they could at that time with the resources that were available to them, either from the universe or they created those, they did the best, right? Having said that, becoming extraordinary on your own terms takes a lot of courage, takes a lot of risk-taking ability. And I think I can also share my personal experience of, taking risks in life. I have started over a few times in life, and every time I stood up with more resources. I stood up with more learnings, and learnings, remember, are always, always positive. You can never have, out of all the negative experiences or positive experiences that you have had in life, the learnings are always positive. And that's what we ought to preserve, right? That's how we grow. We either grow or we disintegrate, we die. So where do we go from being in that culturescape? It's like landscape, you design a landscape for a certain area in your garden. And when you design it, you have a vision in your mind. Exactly culturescape, what anyone else has defined for you, you are actually clearing the screen, clear screen, and you're creating new, happy, healthy, more resourceful thoughts that will help you design a new culturescape based on your own terms. That is what Vishen means in this envisioning a future, bending the reality. These are other some of the laws that he has talked about, and he has also talked about one of the new words, which says that become unfuckwithable. So I totally support that. What that means is whatever anyone says, it's their opinion, right? It comes from their mental, emotional, physical upbringing, conditioning, the way they were taught, exactly the culturescape, right? They are looking at you, they are judging you from their culturescape. So learn to embrace that, learn to accept that, don't fight that, and make your aura so strong, so positive that anyone, whatever they say, and as an opinion, good, bad, take it, accept it. But in saying that, when you confront, you actually give a lot of your energy and the key of your happiness to that person who may not be able to govern your life, and they're not capable of. Nobody, including yourself, is capable of judging yourself in that zone when you are unresourceful, when you are experiencing a negative thought in your mind. So become unfuckwittable. Become a person who doesn't really not care about it, takes it, accepts it, moves on with the learning that comes from there. Honestly, if people in their relationships, including me, if we embrace these learning and practice this, implement these thoughts in our daily life, relationships will be better, work relationships, personal relationships will be better, and relationship with yourself will be better because there will be heightened awareness, right? Thank you, Rachna, for sharing your thoughts once again. And now I'm going to open the laws, the 10 laws that this book is based on. 10 unconventional. Unconventional is something that's already extraordinary. That is something unusual. You probably haven't done it before. You probably haven't heard it. Or maybe it was there somewhere in your life, but now it will be reaffirmed. So that's what Rachna was talking about. Transcend, go beyond the culturescape, the norms that society has defined for you. Just on that thought, I used to, growing up years for me were all about handling or facing the societal pressure of being raised by a single mother, having another sibling as a girl as well. There was a huge amount of pressure on us to prove our identity to the society, to the world, that we can do what boys can do. Even having no man in the family, we can face the challenges. So that created first the identity crisis, that created additional pressure. The culturescape became huge, and perhaps my courage became this small. And this fear started growing, engulfing me all parts of my life. And it affected that. Obviously, my childhood, my teenage, even to the age when I started working, and my career life got affected by that, my relationships including. So imagine what we are carrying as a baggage with us can, as a baggage or as a learning, choice is yours. We are all presented with choices every single day. You have a choice whether to carry that baggage with you all your life and then be bogged by that. And I don't know if you've ever come across those images online where the head is fallen down and the body is like still standing. So don't do that to yourself. I was there at one point in time. That's the reason when I got my freedom from all that fear, anxiety, conflict, tension, stress. And I'm not saying that I have conquered them all. Situations keep throwing themselves at us every single day. It only means that when you have the knowledge, how do you turn that knowledge into wisdom is by doing something about it. Becoming extraordinary is definitely not an art, it's a science. So if you follow simple steps, you will definitely get there. Yesterday, we were talking about Shri. Shri was in session with us and he held the session. Thank you, Shri, for that. Our monthly mastermind meetings. And he talked about how we have to first, rather than thinking about, oh, when I have this kind of a status, a car, house, huge things in my life, only then I will be happy. And then I will start doing the things that I've always wanted to do. And then I will become extraordinary. Rather than have, do, be syndrome, you turn it around, the equation, and you become what you have always wanted to be. You become, then you do those things. And eventually, obviously, those things will come to you. The abundance will come to you, but you have to function from the abundant mindset. So thank you, Shri, for that. I was thinking about that all this while. Well, I had to talk about these laws. So that's my personal experience with all that culturescape had thrown onto me, and I had accepted it. But now that I have created my own pathway, I'm yet to become unfuckwittable because sometimes things still tend to bother, but then awareness is where it becomes different. Awareness is what helps me now. I become aware, and that's it. Clean the slate and move on with new learnings and new action, more resourceful, right? So the second one is Yes.
Sorry,
Please,
somewhere you also touched on conscious engineering, if you realized.
Oh, yes.
It is like where the author talks about changing the hardware and the software, correct? I remember that.
Absolutely.
Just like your computer, your mind also contains hardware and software. So the hardware contains the model of reality, where you hold your beliefs about the world.
Absolutely.
And the software contains a system of living. So this is our daily habits and how do you utilize them. So how you just mentioned is how you can change your reality by changing the way of how you think and
absolutely.
how it's all awareness. Absolutely.
Exactly. And all these spiritual teachers or gurus or awakened souls, they have, if you look at the fundamental, it's one common, they are always functioning from that higher source of intelligence. They're taking, it's a perspective that they see. Even being inside the situation, they are able to get out of that situation and see the now, right? Conscious Engineering, amazing, fantastic book. And Sadhguru is someone who I also very vividly follow. Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Rachna. Moving on is the law number 2, question everything that is existing. Question the B rules, the bullshit rules. I'm sorry, I have to use these languages because this is the words, this is how it is in the book. And if that book was not of any value, people wouldn't have been going gaga and crazy about it, right? And Mind Valley, one of the major human development platforms in the world, wouldn't have been where it is today. So something extraordinary happened there, right? And what stops you from thinking that it can't happen in your life or it can happen in your life? Whether you think you can or you can't, you are right. Choice is yours, what you want to think, decide. Going on, law 3 is practice conscious engineering, just what Rachna was talking about. It's here. Obviously, rewrite your models of reality, because the reality that was told to you initially or you were raised with was an overall reality. And whose reality? Perhaps the person's reality who was teaching you that, right? That's not who you are. You may be either way beyond that, or you create your own path of reality. So you bend that reality to create your own. Like we were talking about, Rachna was talking about softwares and hardware. Absolutely the same thing. Upgrade your systems of living, upgrade your quality of thinking. That's when you will have a happy state of mind. If your state of mind is negative right now, it's not helping you, change, right? Stop it. And here you can see there are 10 chapters, and I just showed 5 laws, but I wanted to introduce these 4 levels. So the 10 chapters of the 10 laws of the book are actually based or divided into 4 levels. First is you're living in the culturescape, so you are totally in the zone that others decided for you. Then from level 1, when you start to question that culturescape, throw lofty questions, and there's nothing wrong in questioning every single thing that you want to. That's your right, yeah, including yourself. Question yourself. Why am I doing this, what I'm doing right now? Is this serving me? Yeah, is this really true about me? Any belief that you have. Then moving on to level 2 is that's when you get your awakening. It's the moment when you realize the choice of your words, how is it creating a certain kind of effect on my mind, on others' mind? That's when you begin to not react, but respond from a higher source of intelligence. And we all are born with that. That's why we have the supreme intelligence, and that's why we are considered superior to animals who can't speak, who can't really express. Yes, they do it in their own way, but not how we can, and how we can transform through living. The third level is the world inside of you. Now, when you begin, this one is all world around you, world outside of you, culturescape. Then you go, you peel the layer of the onion, you're getting inside. There you go, the world you choose, your terms. Then you go inside that world. What's in there? And you start recoding, redesigning, reimagining, recognizing those abilities that you have been bestowed with by the nature, by creator, the supreme force up there. And then finally, you become. That's the path to becoming, the level to becoming extraordinary. So it is a whole, not new, but these levels are based on human behavior, science, psychology. It's all put together. Spirituality, it's all of those realms put together. Right, I'm going to introduce 5 more laws, and then I will bring in another very special person who has been associated with this initiative right from the beginning. I will introduce him because it's been 3 ladies up until now. I want to give a chance to another wonderful human being. Bend reality, that's what we talked about. Create your own reality. Live in discipline, that's what Kathy was talking about. Create your vision for your future. That's what Rachana and I talked about. Obviously, you heard that from me. Embrace your quest. Embrace what you are thinking, what you're questioning. It all has a meaning. It all has a purpose. You wouldn't get that question in your mind for nothing. And there is no such thing called nothing. Everything, every single word that you choose to speak out of your mouth has a meaning behind it. And the meaning is based on the conditioning that you have been raised with. So culturescape is the foundation. When you change the foundation and put more strength in that foundation and it is positive, the building automatically will become positive and it will, take, for example, Burj Khalifa, the levels. Even if the foundation wasn't strong, if the vision wasn't strong, it wouldn't have been the iconic building that it is in today's time. And they're going on envisioning even more things that are the first and the tallest and the largest. Another one just opening on 22nd of February, the Museum of the Future. I don't know how many of you are interested in visiting that. I definitely will be there. I don't know on the first day, but yes, Rachna, let's all plan and visit that. Okay, I will bring in, enough of me talking, I will bring in Ahmed. Ahmed, if you are here with us, let me see. Yes, Ahmed, thank you so much. You can unmute. And Ahmed is someone who has been very passionately involved in helping me design few things as digital marketing perspective or marketing perspective or technology per se. He has been an amazing support, I can say. My website as well, he has helped me design that, put the life to that content up there. And if you want to have a one-on-one with Ahmed and learn few things on the tech side, I would encourage you to do that. Ahmed Mohsen, please, I welcome you to the webinar.
Thank you, Nosheen. Thank you so much for the introduction. I really appreciate what you ladies are doing every day, changing people, changing the world. So I really love this. And this is the whole motivation behind me being part of this journey, or trying to be part of the journey if I can. While doing your website wasn't just making a website for me, it was so much knowledge right there on the website about everything I needed to know about, NLP and life coaching, and finding my weaknesses, reading all these things. I was like, oh yeah, I actually do have this problem, so it went away from building a website to me reading about topics that I never knew they existed and that they can actually improve the way I carry myself or the way I carry my business. So thank you for that. Tell me, would you like me to relate to one of the laws? I think it's
yes, please. Yes, whatever you think is relevant to you, and you can talk about that, and then we will open the room to the audience.
No worries at all. I think I've made a very good relation with law number 9 being you already apologized for the language, so I'll use
I did. Go on, say it. So, don't be apologetic.
Fucker visible. That is one thing that when I'll talk about personal experience, when you're carrying on a business, and we all have our personal problems and having a vision for the future, embracing your quest, like a lot of these things we all have in mind. But one thing that really gets into me is being fucked with. So when you're carrying on your business, when you're carrying on anything in your life, you are very prone to be effed with. You're very prone to be brought down. You're very prone to. You don't have to be effed with in a manner that is bringing you down as a person. It could be anything. It could be anything. So this is the one thing that I made friends with, and I'm trying to improve. That you should care less about what people think about you. You should care less about what people believe you should be doing. Going back to the B rules, you know, and how a lot of the thing is, a lot of people around you are not in your shoes, but they always think they know. They always think that they know what you're doing, and they always see the right thing, but they're never in your shoes. They don't know why you've taken that decision. They don't know why you're thinking like that, you're doing like that. So accepting, I'm not saying don't accept feedback. Feedback is always good, as long as it's constructive and it's getting you from one point to the other. That's really good. The things that I've learned as well is admitting your faults. So if someone has done one thing to you, like as Kati said at the beginning, forgiveness. Easier said than done, 100%. But forgiving is a very good thing to do, and it does make you move on with your life. Personally, I'm a person that if I'm upset, it can take a lot of space in my day, and it can take a lot of space of the way I think. But when after this conversation and after the last conversation, because we had a prior one before, being forgiving and just unfuckables, fuckers was that word. I feel like I can just focus more on the things that matter and try to improve how I carry myself in my business. So yeah, sorry for talking too much.
No, come on. That is, see, expression. We're all here to not make it very A, B, C, D. There needed this basic structure needed to be there so that people know what we are talking about. And there are people from all different walks of life. Not necessarily, last time we had a trial to this, and we had really like super informal conversation. So that time there was no slides or nothing. It was just us talking. So I just wanted to make it a little bit different and a little more planned this time. So you're all good, Ahmed. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and your experience and how you have evolved or still evolving. We all are still evolving from our past, evolving rather in our present and envisioning a better future. Who would want to think like, oh, I want to be doomed the next day? I don't think there is anybody who would want to talk about, who would want to think of their future as that. Yes, there are people with serious mental, emotional issues, and they may be in that zone, but somewhere, somehow, they are also thinking to become free of that. And that's why we are sharing what we are sharing today.
Absolutely.
For all of us not to be in that zone, we're not trying to avoid that, but we are trying to equip ourselves with better resources like gratitude, forgiveness. Forgiveness is not for the other, it's for your own self. And I have time and again said, whoever I have met, that I wasn't able to forgive someone very integral part of my life, my father, for a major time of my life. And the minute I was able to let go of that anger or whatever negative emotion was associated with that, and was able to forgive fully. Now, the catch here is forgiveness is not half. There is no half apology. There is no half love. I love you, but I forgive you, but. So please, please, please do not attach that meaning, because when you say but or however, it all gets, whatever you said before that but or however, all gets negated. So there is no, you haven't really learned how to forgive, right? So these are some of the tools that I would like to talk about. And extraordinary people in this world, really, do you think a career or a job will define who they are? Or can anyone define who Ahmed is, who Nosheen is? They might define my religion. They might define my name. They might define my behavior or character, what they think Nosheen is. But that's not true. I am beyond those labels. And when I discover those strengths in me, that is what will help me become or tread on that road to becoming extraordinary, right? Allow yourself to question your norms, your current reality. And with this, I am going to open the forum for, no, not going on this one, but the first 5 ones, if anyone wants to talk about those and share their experience or have any questions, I leave the room open to you all. We have a lot of time. We are here till 1:30. Please switch on your camera. We would like to have a beautiful interaction between human beings, though virtually, but sharing emotions here as well. Juan, thank you so much for joining us. Juan is another very integral part of this coach community. Juan and Marty both. Marty, I think, was not able to join us today, but we, Kathy, me, Ahmed, Rachna, Juan, and Marty are all joined from a single thread where we shared an industry, we shared a feeling, we shared a platform together called aviation, flying, and that lifestyle. So we are connected from that time up until now and moving on, sharing the vision for future, right? So thank you very much, Juan, for joining us as well. I leave the room open to you. Please, anyone who wishes to have a question right now, or pick one law out of the 10 and talk about what's the learning from there and how they incorporated that in their life, I would welcome that. Thank you. Juan, you unmuted, please.
Okay, I guess I'll go first.
Yeah, please, go ahead.
So I just wanted to quickly touch on what Ahmed said. Law number 9 and number 10, the unfuckwithable and the embrace your quest. I mean, extraordinary people have really, really embraced this. The world is out to get you, but nobody actually cares of what you're doing. So it's all in our heads, actually. We are the ones that put that the world is out to get us, yeah? Nobody really cares what you're doing except yourself. If somebody tells you that you're doing the wrong thing or whatever, if you have a bad reaction towards that, it's because your ego was hurt. Yeah, you need to check your ego, put that ego on your side, and just say, hey, this person doesn't know me. This person doesn't know the quest that I'm in. This person has no idea of what I'm facing. So take it with a pinch of salt, get from that whatever you can learn from it, whatever you cannot, drop it off. And successful people and extraordinary people have really, really learned this, right? If you see Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, all this, they couldn't care less of what other people say.
True.
They are doing their things. They know their vision of the world that they want to leave behind, and they are just working towards it. People might try to bring them down. You will see politicians banging at them, competition banging at them. Even friends will try to bring them down, but they are very clear on what they want, what they're looking for, and that vision of the world that doesn't yet exist, but they will work every single day towards achieving that. And they just keep going.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Juan, for sharing that very, very important and critical point of people don't know your battle. They don't know your story. They are judging you from their perspective. And that's what I also mentioned. So you don't necessarily have to take it all on you. Yes, listen to them, what they are saying. Perhaps there is a reason. There's a lesson for you to learn. There is something unresolved that you yet have not dealt within you. That's why you chose to get affected. And you can question and say that, how can I choose to be negative? No one chooses, but yes, it is a choice. Every single moment we are presented with choices, whether to go this way or to go that way, right? So make use of this intelligence and GPS that is constantly updating, right? It's even more powerful than the GPS that you're using or the maps you're using real time that keep changing, the Google Maps. Even Google was invented by humans, right? Okay, thank you, Juan, for your experience and thoughts. Anybody else who would like to? And we do have, before we actually go there, Jihan, thank you so much. Jihan is my team member, my support, the backbone of Auracious at the moment, along with me, who helps me design the kind of content and, works really just at a call or at a text with me, even if she is at the end of the world. So yeah, thank you very much, Jihan, for that. And
thank you so much, Vishen, for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yes, please. Who would like to enlighten us next? Now? Thanks,
Okay.
Sharad.
So actually, I was just listening to what Johan said, that we should not be, bogged down or bothered too much about what other people are saying, and because, as you mentioned, that they don't know what our story is and what we, or from where we have come and where we are going, or where we intend to go. But then, from a different point of view, don't you think that after certain time or after a period of time, everybody will be aloof, or everybody will be going their own way, because we are not kind of interacting. Yes, we are listening to what other people are saying and taking or maybe learning by those things. But then if everybody does the same thing, it was just a question. So,
Yes, please.
so don't you think that, after a certain period of time, everybody will be just doing their own thing? There will be no connectivity. I am in a path of an enlightenment for myself. But then at the end of the day, if everybody is doing that, then there is no link between us. Just a thought. I don't know.
Sorry, Nish, you mind if I reply to that?
Yeah. I will let you come in. First of all, I appreciate your thought and the question. Very valid question, and it has come from a personal space right now, because I know Sharad from a personal level as well, and I sort of know the reason. I may not know it all, because we do not know what we don't know, right? So I know some part of it, why that question came in. And yes, Juan, you would like to answer that question? Please go ahead and do that. I will. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Sharad, thank you for your insight on this part. But what I meant with that is, yes, at the end of the day, success in our world, I mean, as a community, comes from deep selfishness from people. And don't get me wrong, it's not about everybody trying to crush the other person, but when you are selfish into your own needs, your own impact that you want to see in the world, you will end up collaborating with more and more people who are sharing that vision that you have of that world. Okay? When you are not taking into account what other people are saying to you, is not that there are no rules in this world that you have to follow, is to live in a community. It's more about so many people, the input that they give you, it comes from a place that they don't know your journey. They don't know what you have gone through to get to this part of the journey. Sometimes they only see what success you have come up with, but they don't see the struggles that you are going through. As a community, yes, the more successful and the more we want, if everybody has a clear purpose and vision of the world that they want to live in, we will find and connect with people that have that same mindset. One example of that is Rashna, Nushin, Kathy, Ahmed, and myself. We have really come together because we share that vision of world and that impact that we want to leave behind in this world. Okay, so yes, we are all doing our own things. However, we are all connected and we are working towards a specific goal of world or vision that we want to leave behind.
Thank you. And yet we are doing our own thing. So yes, when you said, Sharad, I don't know how much of the part of this question or the answer are you satisfied with, or it made sense. adding on to what Juan said, because it makes sense to me, we share the same vision. When you have a vision, for that vision, you need to actually introspect, because vision doesn't come from nowhere. It comes from pain. It really, really comes from pain. You have to be able to turn that pain into an opportunity. And only extraordinary people do that. Otherwise, you'll be living with pain forever. And yes, you may be lonely there. You may think that people are sharing that pain, but no, nobody shares anybody's pain. Even if it's your mother, your son, your daughter, nobody. You feel and go through that pain within you. The only thing is people either feel that effect, but when you are expressing yourself, only then they will know. Other times they may never know because you've silently kept it within you. So if you are on the level of reaching awakening, that's everything to do with your inner makeup, inner engineering, inner mechanism, the system. And having said that, in doing so, if you are fighting certain demons there, so be it. Because only through that you will reach clarity. Only through chaos we get clarity. We can't, there are no days like 365 days of the year when everything is clear. Darkness and light both complement each other. It's the law of duality. Darkness has to exist for the light to be appreciated in our lives, whether it's the inner light, whether it's the external light that's coming to us. So, no, we won't be alone, but when we look inside and we introspect, it's only us who can do that. Nobody else can be with you in that zone. So please let us know, has that sort of clarified or scratched the surface level of your question, Sharad?
Yeah, actually, it got more confused.
It's fine. Confusion is good.
No,
See,
actually,
skepticism is good.
whatever you and Yuan mentioned, I totally agree with that. But my question was not at that level. My question was where you and both of you have mentioned that a couple of you are from the same kind of career background initially when you started your when you started knowing each other, and then gradually you started your own journey, and at this point of time you kind of have the same vision, and hence you are working towards that.
Right.
So that was my question, that when everybody, a small group of people or a larger group of people have the same kind of vision, and they come from a different walk of life with different experiences and upbringing and social systems, at the end of the day you become a close group, but then that group is being enhanced within themselves. So maybe it is 5 people right now, maybe there will be 16 and 20 and 50. After some times, that is the only group who's being enhanced, or you are getting more energy with each other. You are getting knowledge and trying to understand from different things from a different perspective, different point of views. But then again, it is the same group which is being enhanced. It is the same group which is getting richer. But then there are not many other people, those who are not being able to get aligned themselves with this particular group. So that was my thought, that if we do that and we do not try to involve other people also, they might not understand where I'm coming from, what I'm doing, but then maybe we kind of leave an impact on their lives, so that at least they can start thinking on their own. They may not become a part of me or my vision or my journey, my past or my future, but then at least I kind of make them capable, or maybe enhance their understanding of their own lives and knowledge up to a certain extent, where they can think about doing themselves and they be on their own journey.
Absolutely,
That was my
Sharad, thank you.
question.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I would like to, I would like to clarify that the whole and sole reason, even though we share the same vision, how did that vision come across? How did we get to? It's not that we flew together, or I didn't even know Juan until last year. We know that we are associated with the same background, same career, but that's not who we are. That's why I said extraordinary people don't have a job, they don't have a career, they have a calling and a purpose. And we share a purpose. Having said that, it also means that people who are not here today, who are not part of this vision, or any vision, any group, any community for that matter, not just this is a menial, very small effort in helping those people to understand that something like this exists. People do respond, they do appreciate what you have to say. They will be willing to help only if you come out of that shell. That's all I have to say. Help you can find in any form, wherever. Anybody can come and help you. You need to be able to raise it. You need to seek help. What you seek is seeking you. I hope you have heard this. And I know that you have been an ardent reader and still are. Rumi said that, gave that gem to us. What you seek is seeking you. And yesterday I was wise and I wanted to change the world. Yesterday I was foolish. I wanted to change the world. And today I'm wise. I am changing myself. So it all
Yes, I
starts
guess
with yourself.
I totally agree with that. I guess maybe I have to,
We'll
get.
talk. We'll take it one-on-one, or if you want,
Yeah.
I can
No,
also
no,
connect
no.
you with some.
That image which I was referring to right now, recoding yourself, that is
Right.
level 3, where you have to look more, or maybe I don't know if that's the
Inside.
right word, to be
Inside.
more critical towards yourself and then see inside
To
the
be
world which is
more,
there.
to be more analytical, to be more aware. I wouldn't say
Yeah.
critical. Criticizing is not necessarily. It doesn't have a good feeling, right? When someone criticizes
Yes.
someone, it's judging. There's a judgment behind that.
Wrong choice of word, perhaps.
Not wrong. You felt that was right. That's your reality. So thanks for bringing it out to us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think it's more
Yes.
about knowing
You're right,
your
sir.
inner state.
Yes, please,
If I
Rashna, go
could
ahead.
say something. Yes, yeah, sorry. So it's I think we're talking more about the inner state, of how you feel within yourself. So it is more to be free from within, focusing on what is happening within me rather than what's happening outside us. Not generalizing it, that, oh, this is how the world is, but, or this is how the situation is. But because of the situation, what has happened within me, what has transformed, what has shifted within me, most of the time, we are occupied with the 5 senses that we have in the outside world. But very rarely do we step inside ourselves and think of why the way we feel about something. So I think it is more to focus on our energy within us, inside us, and which is.
Rachna, we lost your audio there. I don't know. Yeah, I can't hear you. So just unmute yourself, please, and let's see if we can hear you again.
Am I audible now?
Yes, you are.
Thanks. Okay, so I was just trying to add on a little bit onto that question.
Yes,
Thank you,
and
Rachna.
thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Sharad,
much.
actually, yes. Yes, Kathy, you want to share your thoughts? Please, most welcome. Please go ahead.
Sorry, no, just a very quick little note on the subject of aloofness. If you stop caring about what everyone says, then you just somehow became blank and you don't evolve.
True.
And I think the important thing here is to be open to what everyone wants to say about you, about your journey, and create a filter. And you will absorb everything that is useful and you'll process it within yourself. How can this help me? and what is it useful, you keep it within yourself and you use it to grow, even if it's a bit of pain, even if you feel that pain. You're like, okay, this pain will be constructive to me. It's hard to hear this, so I will be using it in a constructive way. So it's not entirely with the being unfuckwithable. It's not entirely like, oh, I'm on my journey. I don't care what anyone in the world says, because at the end of the day, we are all connected and we all need each other.
True.
And we are all social beings, and we will all need all the parts of each other. We are united. So it's just, as Rajna was mentioning, a lot of internal work on how to use and how to process, how to digest things in order not to hijack our minds. And so we can use that energy for constructive things for our life and for the life of our loved ones, for our mission. Because the moment that someone gives us some sort of feedback, or someone influential in our lives gives us an information that will harm us, or even if someone actually disregards us or ignores us, that can really hijack our mind and bring and take out a lot of energy from us, that we will not be able to invest that energy in our mission, in our purpose, in the good things. So it's just creating that filter, absorbing what we can use and just throwing away what we cannot. That's my point.
Thank you so much.
Something
Kathy.
I like to add on that really helped me, and perhaps that might just click to people around here, is that we must give freedom to everybody to be the way they want to be. That's the biggest freedom we can get ourselves the moment we give freedom to people to say what they want to say, to do what they want to do. Because again, as going back to what Nausheen had said, everybody has their own beliefs and habits. They have their own conditioning from past, from their birth time up till now. So instead of reacting and questioning and, that why a certain person said something, or why, the situation is like this, but giving the freedom and just flowing with it, I think that brings in a lot of freedom within us. I'm just think about it, because it actually brought a lot of freedom to me within when I started to think that way, that the other person is behaving because of the conditioning, or the situation is the way because we attracted it that way.
True.
So being free is to give the freedom.
Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts on that. And I would also like to say that giving that freedom means you are accepting. Give freedom to yourself, create that acceptance within yourself, and automatically you will see, when you wholeheartedly accept, love yourself, forgive yourself, not only accept. Forgive yourself for whatever you have held yourself responsible for, whether you have some kind of guilt in you for your past actions or current state of mind. Let go of that guilt. Right? Easier said than done, yes. But if you don't take even a single step towards it, the Everest is still standing in front of you. You haven't even started with the base. So how do you get there? You have to start from the base with the right tools. And that's why we are here, to scratch that surface, help you get towards the base, at least, because it's your journey. I'm not going to climb with you. We're not going to climb with you. You will climb, but with right resources, with the self-awareness that you perhaps need. You are getting there. And we wish you well with your journey, and everybody with theirs as well. Okay, so I wanted to say something very quickly here, that tools we are talking about, anything that we talked about, questioning the culturescape or questioning the current norms, current reality, bending your reality, creating your new resourceful reality, is all based on three things. If you remember those three things and create your life on those things, create a vision for your future, that vision should have three things: experiences, growth, and contribution. Now, these can become, growth and contribution are my personal values as well. I stand by them and I live them. right? I'm at least doing my best, and I'm getting there, I guess. So experiences is you ask these questions to yourself or the people associated with you. If you are a business owner and you have employees, or you are into corporate working world and you have a team to manage, ask this question to your team. What experiences do you want to have in this lifetime? Starting with yourself. So first thing, experience. Second thing, growth. For example, experiences, I will go back to that. Creating those experiences. Travel the world, for example, I wrote that, and I'm just referring to my notes. Honestly, travel the world. I have seen some part of it. Major part of it remains unseen, and that's my vision for the future. Experience more love, right? When you have more love within you, only then you will be able to experience more love. Second one is growth. How do you want to grow? Not why do you want to grow? Why is obviously your purpose. Why do I want to grow? Because I want to progress, because I want to create a new vision for the future. So how do you want to grow? With whom do you want to grow? I want to grow. I want to make Auracious #1 personal development, personal and professional development brand somewhere down the line in maybe 2025, 26. We were just talking about 2025 yesterday, vision. And when you have a vision, everything else gets aligned towards that. Yeah. So having a vision, very important. And then last one is contribution. What do you want to contribute to the world or to the planet? So it's not just what am I getting from this experience? How am I growing? It's all about your surroundings as well. And in totality, for thinking ecological, thinking about the planet, about the world as well, and the people in it. So what are you contributing? How do you want to contribute? What do you want to contribute towards the world? So I would talk about these 3 things that are a give from my side, and you can choose to, form this as a baseline for your future vision. Yeah, thank you. And I would like to invite, I don't know if it is okay to put him on the spot, but Shri, please, your wisdom and he has been, Sridhar Venkataraman, he has been my mentor for past 1 year, I should say now, and a very, very huge role in my thought process of how I think now and in my entrepreneurial journey. I was staggered everywhere. So at one point in time, you do need a guidance, a direction, an expert opinion, a professional advice if something that came from within is not really helping you, right? So Shri, please share your thoughts on anything amongst this or otherwise.
Thank you very much, Noshin. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I've not read this book. I have followed Vishen Lakhiani for a long time. So when I see these 10 laws, I can already see that it's, I've heard it in various forms and various ways by following his so many other videos and webinars. It's great to be here listening to you, listening to Auracious Talks, and decoding this book and what's mentioned in it. When I listen to all these things and all the talks from all of you, again, it only kind of strengthens my belief that all of this is kind of literally the birthplaces from Think and Grow Rich, which is to challenge your belief system, to have a vision and goal and be determined to work towards that, and all these things. So I think whether it is you, Rachna, Kathy, or Juan, or all those people who spoke, I think all of you have covered everything well. In terms of one thing that Sarath raised and Juan mentioned, only a story immediately came to my mind, which is a frog was climbing a tree, and when all other frogs around it said, "No, don't do that. Are you crazy?" It just kept climbing and kept falling and kept climbing. Finally, it reached the top of the tree. and everyone around it was like amazed, only to discover that the frog was deaf. Had it probably been able to hear what the other said, it may have been discouraged and stopped climbing, but it was determined to climb and it was deaf, so it could make it to the top. So in our life, the ordinary people are those who listen to all the others and get emotionally entangled with what they said. And the extraordinary people are, as most of you said, take what is heard from everyone, analyze it, filter out the good part from where the learning comes, and throw the rest in the garbage and keep moving on. So that's what the whole thing is all about. End of the day, we need to have a much bigger vision and purpose in life and stay focused, remind ourselves on a daily basis towards that and keep working. Yes, will it get refined as we progress? For sure, it will get refined and it will get probably bigger and tuned, fine-tuned. Yet that is the only way to stay energized and keep going. One thing, the law of the what was this? There was somewhere.
Yeah, I will just move the screen. And...
No.
So these are
this one. There was one about the B rules and the questioning the B rules.
Right.
Honestly speaking, when you combine law 1 and 2, yes, we are part of the. We are made up based on the society, based on the upbringing, the culture, and everything that's been shared with us as we were growing up. Right. And 95% or 99% of the people don't question it; they just go with the flow. True. And we need to question it. Yet, even as I say that, I think sometimes we need to know whether it is worth questioning, because we won't get the answers, because the people who we question may not themselves also have the answer to that.
Absolutely.
If I go and ask my mom about something, hey, why are we doing this? Probably she will just say, because we've been doing it for generations. Even I don't know. I didn't question my parents. I didn't question my forefathers. True. So because they have been doing, we do. Yes. So my only thing is, yes, if it, and then comes the fear factor as to if I don't do that, what will happen? The fear of the unknown.
True.
And then we kind of either succumb to doing it or not doing it. So end of the day, if it serves us, we do it. It doesn't serve us, just forget it and move on.
Absolutely.
One, I believe if you are from Mexico, I don't know if are you from Mexico?
Juan, come in.
Colombia.
Sorry?
Colombia.
Colombia, okay.
Colombia.
Because Mexico, as we all call it, again, has a lot of connections to India, where they are very religious, they are very spiritually guided people. So also have a lot of effect on the upbringing and the culture. So I will not take too much time. I'll rest the case here. Yes, that's all I will say. Thank you. Thank you for bringing me up, Noshi.
Thank you very much, Sri, for sharing that wisdom, for sharing that knowledge and your perspectives as well. We really appreciate that. And yes, I do hope that this discussion, the talk, the webinar, the tools that has been of some value to your already existing knowledge and the learnings that you take from here, you will sort of, give them a thought, at least, even if not you want to apply them now, but definitely some part of it you may want to incorporate in your daily lives, in your personal and professional life. Zico, Arshad, Anjali, Jihan, Ahmed, Simran, Suman, and obviously my lovely guests, Shri and, Ahmed, Sharat, Rachna, and Kathy. Thank you so much. Thank you very, very deepest gratitude for you all to have joined us today and shared your life experiences and the learnings from this book. Like Shri mentioned, that the fundamentals are really, think and grow rich, and riches can come in any form. It doesn't need to be necessarily money. It depends what you hold that what value do you hold? What kind of riches are you looking for? Whether you are looking at it in terms of acquiring wealth, or in terms of acquiring knowledge or experience or growth or contribution. So riches can come in any form to make you or to help you become extraordinary and to grow. Now, I have a little request and an announcement, you may call it. Any case in any of the sphere that you think the audience here or anyone you know in your sphere is wants to share or is able to add value and contribute knowledge or skills to the rest of the world through this medium, I and Auracious welcome that person wholeheartedly to share their knowledge with us and to leave that impact, positive impact on people and on the entire community and on the entire world. The questions we have already taken. You can get in touch with us on this email and phone number. I believe all of you have that, or most of you have that. So it's very personal. Let me know. I will have a one-on-one with you should you have any plans to discuss anything further. So we have 5 minutes. Very quickly, I would want to ask others who have not yet been either asking or sharing or have something in their mind to share a little thought. Please go ahead and do that. And if I can request you all before that to please switch on your cameras for a little picture that we want to have here, that would be great, please. I think I'll have to go on the full screen mode. Okay. Thank you, Sharat. Thanks a lot for switching on your camera. Now, my struggle here is how do I get everybody on the screen? What feature do I choose?
You need to
Sorry,
stop
I
sharing.
need to switch off. Yeah, I need to stop sharing. Thank you so much. Thanks, Ahmed. See, that's what I'm talking about. Technically challenged, and there he goes, my savior. All right. Rachna, are you here with us? Because all this while she was, and now, okay. Thank you so much. Please share that beautiful smile, the smile that comes straight from the heart with all of us. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, last bit, anyone would like to share anything, any feedback, any questions? We can take that now in the next 4 minutes per se. Yeah, we have a lot of thanks going on here on the chat. Thank you. Thank you, Zico.
Hi,
Nosheen, this is Suman here.
Hi, Suman.
Say, Juan, sorry for interrupting you.
No, go ahead, please.
Okay. My apologies. I am not purposely, intentionally turning on my video because I'm slightly under the weather and looking extremely terrible. So please excuse me for that. So I don't have a feedback or, because all the beautiful people have already, made a huge impact and have talked about their beliefs and their experiences. I just have a takeaway though. Two things I want to talk about. One that Sharat spoke about, where he said that we have to be, we can't just, strike out people or other people's opinion. It's just that how much of it, we'll have to put a filter. How much of it is that we can acknowledge, accept, and imbibe, while still maintaining a certain level of respect for the other individual, because they come with their thought process, and there is a history, there is a background to it. The second thing is when we talk about happiness is like an inward looking mechanism, and unfortunately most of the time we are all having an outward looking, not necessarily materialistic, but we look for happiness in the outside world, from people, from things, from atmosphere, environment, things, materialistic or whatever. However, happiness is something that you can feel, and where we loosely touched upon the word bliss is. So I think it's the next level of happiness, where it takes it to the next quotient or to the next level. And yes, once you start analyzing the situation, anxiety, sadness, unhappiness, disappointment, these are all very, very integral part of our characteristics, because we are humans end of the day. How we internalize each of these experiences, each of these thoughts, be analytical and come out clear, is perhaps reaching that level of bliss or happiness, which we ourselves can give and bring, while ably contributed by others and external factors. But I think it's more in my hand. There are certain things which are beyond my control, and even if I try, I may not be able to change the world, but definitely I can bring that change in myself. So inward looking approach is very, very important. And that's my takeaway from this entire conversation.
Thank you so much, Suman. It's you have beautifully summed it up all for us. When we start to think inside of us, it's more meaningful. Perhaps you may not get all the answers, and you don't have to, honestly. That's why we seek. We seek to learn from people who have either figured or they are also learning, and they share that knowledge with you. And that's why we all gathered here together for the same common goal. Thank you. Really appreciate that, the takeaways that you described. And I hope this has added value to already what you are practicing in your professional and personal life. Thanks a lot. Arshad is someone who, you're most welcome. Arshad is someone who I have just known very recently, and he's from a training and development background. So we connected on those dots because I share that same profession as well. So thank you, Arshad, for joining us today and being here and witnessing this, observing all of this, and embracing all the learning. Do you have to say anything very quickly about the whole?
Thoroughly, thanks, Naushin. Thoroughly enjoyed. I think cleansing of aura. Auracious is cleansing us, and thanks, Kathy, Ahmed, Rakshana, and of course Juan, and amazing sharings from all others guests who have been part of the day. Thank you so much for all the sharings, and of course, it was an interesting session. As I deal with emotional intelligence, it was closely connecting to all the emotions and all the learnings today. Thank you so much for the moment. Thank you.
Thank you very much for being with us. Actually, Sri is saying that he has, yes, anybody who has a prior engagement or commitment, please go ahead. I won't hold you for long. Thank you very much for being part of this talk, webinar, experience, learning, whatever you may want to call it at your level. I really appreciate you all. And Zico, we haven't heard from you. He is one of the very rare people who talk about spirituality in food. That is what I took from every time I met him. Unique human beings, unique backgrounds. So Zico, thank you so much for being part of us today, and anything you would like to very quickly mention. Thanks, Suman. You can.
All good. Thank you, Naushin. Thank you, everyone. So, yeah, I mean, quite a lot of reminders indeed. Can everyone hear me clearly?
Yes, we can.
All right. So, yeah, so it's a funny thing that whatever I do, I really get into the spiritual part of it. And one thing is, since being a Muslim, halal is a very important factor in animal processing, and the spiritual side of it, I actually learned from New Zealand itself, because there were a few converts from the Maori religion to Islam, and they really enlightened me so much about the spirit of the animal, and we take halal as such an important factor in Islam, and I am trying to just introduce it into the authentically introduce it into the camel meat industry, right? And hopefully just be a reminder or a waking up call for everybody in that industry it's quite a difficult journey indeed, trying to trying to be very authentic, especially for that kind of business,
True, true.
So
And that's what
whatever
I
said
said.
and done.
It's very unique what you are doing, and when you do those prayers, and religion and spirituality blend together. I don't know how much of that conversation, Kathy, you are enjoying because she's a vegan, and we are talking here about animals and halal meat and this that. So my apologies for that, but then this is what freedom of expression is. This is what acceptance is. We accept everybody's views and perceptions wholeheartedly, right? Whatever we believe.
It's all valid.
Yeah. Thank you. So thanks,
So
Zico.
that's that. So one thing is I moved from IT into this FMCG industry. So far it's two companies that I have. One is for the camel meat and one is for fresh fruits and vegetables.
Wonderful.
Sri Lanka.
So if anyone wants to know beyond the normal nutritional value of fruits and vegetables, and how making your spiritual relationship good with the food products, including meat, can help your overall well-being, Zico is your man. So get in touch with him and learn more.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Zico. Really appreciate your abilities. And Anjali, thank you very much for joining us in as well. And if any of you have any questions, any knowledge you want to share and become a part of this human potential development initiative called Auracious. Auracious, by the way, means beautiful from within, beauty inside out, rather than external. It's all internal. So it's all going in, right? I thank you all for your time and appreciate your valuable thoughts today. Thank you very much, everyone, and have a wonderful, wonderful day ahead. Thank you. Allah Hafiz, goodbye. Thank you. Thanks a lot.